What's good? What's good, everybody? It's a Course Leviathan Prophecy, and before I get into this video, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit that sub button, and let's get into this video. So now, I don't necessarily break down every little thing that the Giants do, but this notion that every player that they get, that the Giants get from another team, they come in here and do dilly squat. You know, I can remember a lot of players, well, not a lot, but a few players who came in here and did nothing, right? Like Antonio Pierce. Antonio Pierce came from the Redskins at the time. LeVar Arrington obviously came from the Redskins at the time to the Giants, and they produced. They produced. Antonio Pierce became our longest linebacker for about, I'll probably say, let me see, 2006, 7, 8, 9. So 4 seasons, I believe he was with the Giants. Because we got him in 06, 7, 8, 9, and then he had to retire due to neck injury. We got Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay, what he did with the Lions, we thought that he was going to be that next big threat. He turned out to be crap. You know what I'm saying? Jabril Peppers, who we got from the Odell Beckham Jr. trade, who we passed up on the draft. But obviously the Browns wind up taking him. We got him. He didn't really do dilly squat, you know? So the notion that we get in these players from different teams and they expect they expect to come in and just contribute, those days are over. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying that he's not a bad player. It's just that he's a hybrid player. He's a hybrid player, meaning, he plays like multiple positions. He played linebacker, defensive end. He played cornerback. So, you know, we just have to find what's his strength and execute on that, you know? But, like, we got to stop this notion that, oh, just because, we picked him up, it's a steal and this. There's a reason why the Cardinals let him go, I mean, if he was valuable, I think the Cardinals wouldn't be that stupid to let him go. But, the Cardinals are rebuilding right now. They have a new GM, new head coach. So they're just tossing out, the Cardinals are doing what Joe Shane and well, well, basically Joe Shane, because I don't think the head coach have that kind of impact on who goes and who stays. So I think it's the GM's job is to cut players or whatever, or it could be the head coach too. But Joe Shane and Brian Dable is doing exactly what the Cardinals are doing. You know, the previous GM and head coach that was there, they're just cleaning house. They want to bring their players in. They want to draft the way they want to draft it. So I totally understand. They're doing exactly what we're doing. You know, none of these picks that Ratface picked have no ties with Joe Shane and Brian Dable. You know, so they're just cleaning house right now, and I'm hearing rumors that they're trying to trade Kyler Murray because next year's draft is going to be quarterback heavy. So maybe they are tanking. Who knows? You know, but if they are tanking, then they're going to be the worst team in the league. Kind of like how the Panthers were, but I think the Panthers moved up. I don't think they're. I don't know. I think they moved. Yeah, I think the Panthers moved up to get Bryce Young. Because obviously the Bears didn't really need, a quarterback controversy. Because they already had Justin Fields, so why need two quarterbacks? But yeah, but this notion that this guy is gonna come in here, and start right away. Like, he's not going to start. He's going to have to earn it, knowing that this is the last preseason game. I don't really know. I really don't know how this is going to pan out, to be honest with you. If it was 4 preseason games, then I understand, but it's just 3, and, I mean, he's going to get some playing time, but, for him to just, plug in right away, I mean, we got him for a 7th round draft pick, so we'll see. We'll see, but, I don't really break down the whole entire news and stuff. Like, any news that the Giants do get, I'm not gonna, oh my God, it's breaking news. Like, because I trust the Giants' offense, or front office. I don't think the Giants have a great front office. They did in years past, but now it's just a head scratching. I mean, they was keeping getting players from the Bills because they have a tie with Brian Dable. They was taking a lot of ex Cardinals players. It's like, it's a garage sale. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about is high expectations. You know, the media is just hyping this Giants up, or hyping the Giants up. Oh, the Giants are going to be this. Oh, the Giants are going to be that. When the Giants were great, they were under the radar. When nobody was talking about the Giants, that's when they put their best foot forward. Look at those 2 Super Bowl runs. We wasn't heavily favored in any of those Super Bowl runs or playoff runs. So the fact that the media is hyping up the Giants, saying, oh, they're going to be an explosive offense, like we've seen that before with Odell and Victor Cruz, right? Like, Victor Cruz and Odell was supposed to be this unstoppable offense. It didn't happen because obviously Victor Cruz wound up blowing his knee and he was out for the season. And then obviously Odell took that. And, even though we had a shitty record still, he bettered himself. But this is not about Odell. Saquon Barkley, he had a tremendous rookie year. Finished 6-10. So when the Giants are not talked about, that's when they're dangerous. But when the Giants are constantly talked about, they just underperform. Like, where was all this talk about? I'm pretty sure if the Giants go 0-2, which I'm not saying that they will because I have them going 2-0. But if the Giants somehow go 0-2, or just say 1-2, let's say they win against hypothetically, let's say they win against the Cowboys week 1. They turn around and somehow lose against the Cardinals. So they 1-1, and now they have to go to the West Coast to face the 49ers and the Seahawks. So that's what, 1-4, or 1-3, I should say. So, but my opinion is, I think the Giants do well when they're not talked upon. When the Giants are not talked on, or when the Giants are not talked upon much, they succeed. When they backs against the wall, nobody's picking them, they succeed. But when we constantly have to bring up the Giants almost every single day, oh, the Giants are this, oh, the Giants are that, and they go out there and drop an egg, oh, what happened to this somewhat offense? Well, it's going to take a few games to get them clicking. But they had our training camp in preseason. Like, how much more time do you need? Like, you expect this Giants team to hit the ground running offensively. And the Giants has never been an offensive juggernaut. They never have. They tried. It just never worked. The Giants are more of a defensive team than they are offensively, And another thing is, we need to go back to a 4-3 scheme. I know the three. I know the 4-3 was our bread and butter. That's how we won most of our games. That's how we won our Super Bowls. But a 3-4 is not for us. It's not for us. We don't have Lawrence Taylor. We don't have a Carl Banks. We don't have a Kerry, a Harry Carson. We don't have any of those guys. The league has changed. So now the Giants are trying to keep up with the Joneses. The Giants are trying to be something that they're not, and that's a lethal weapon. They're not a lethal weapon. They're a run first team, play defense, and grind you out defensively. That's their motto. That's always been their motto since the 80s. You know, but as time wind down, as players aged and they're retired, they just didn't keep up. They didn't retool. You know, they didn't do any of that. I mean, I've been a Giants fan since '04. You know, I wasn't born in the early 2000s. I was born in '92. So I got to see Lawrence Taylor retire. You know, I believe he retired in '91 or '92, along with Phil Simms. But this was later when I went to like middle school. You know, but yeah, to play in the 3-4, you have to have athletic linebackers. You have to have athletic linebackers. You have to have consistent linebackers. And you blitz a lot in a 3-4 too. Instead of a 4-3, you just let your defensive linemen do the work. You get pressure up front. Your back end or your front end is gonna work with your back end, or your front end is gonna work with your back end. You know. So when you apply pressure on your quarterback, at least if you have a decent front four, like we had in JPP and OC and Tuck and Strahan and those guys. Not saying that JPP played with Strahan, but when we had those three guys, Tuck, OC, and Strahan, we had a lot of sacks. I mean, we had a lot of sacks, but it didn't really convert into turnovers that much because a lot of defenders was keep on dropping the ball. But when we did get sacks, we made sure we got to the quarterback. And then when Michael Strahan retired around the '08 season, we drafted JPP around 2010, I believe. Yeah, 2010, we drafted JPP. And, we still had Chuck, we still had OC, we still had Thais Kaminuka. We still had a good front four, you know? So I'm just saying that the Giants should go back to a 4-3. I don't know why they switched. I guess when they got rid of Tom Coughlin, they, just did the whole 9 yards and, you know, no. This is when they got Wink Martindale. I mean, Brian Dable. He brought in Wink Martindale because he was familiar with him. So, but this 3-4 is not going to work. You know, it worked for some teams like the Ravens, the Dolphins, the Steelers, the Patriots, because they constantly have good linebackers. They constantly retool good linebackers. We haven't had a good linebacker since Antonio Pierce. If you want to say Lawrence Taylor, but then again, Lawrence Taylor was not a middle linebacker. He's an outside linebacker. So he played on the weak end of the field, you know. Banks was a middle linebacker. He was calling all the plays. But yeah, Lawrence Taylor. I mean, not Lawrence Taylor, but Antonio Pierce was our longest linebacker since Lawrence Taylor retired. That's why you see him wearing the number 58 because Carl Banks wore the number 58. But I think he's been wearing the number 58 in Washington. But we had some hit and miss at linebacker. If you want to say Michael Boley was our second longest tender, then you could say that. Obviously he won the championship for us as well. And then we had Michael Boley, and then we had Jonathan Goff, and then we had John Beeson, and then we drafted Mark Herzlich, and then we had Spencer Paysinger, and we had Jaquil Williams, and we had Greg Jones. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. We just had so many linebackers that just didn't pan out. Um, but yeah, like I said, the Giants, when they do good, that's when nobody's talking about them. I put that on everything I love. When the Giants are not talked upon, that's when they do good. But when the Giants are constantly talked upon, they don't perform well. They really don't. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys did beat us. I wouldn't be shocked. I did pick the Giants to win that game, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Cowboys come to MetLife Stadium and beat us. Because another thing is the Giants don't particularly play well at home. They really don't. They're more of a road team than they are a home team. If you ever saw the Giants play well at home, that was because they felt like it. I mean, I think they just like the hostile environment, back against the wall. Nobody's picking us. But when they feel comfortable at home, they don't do well. I don't know why, you know. But it is what it is. I did say the Giants are going to go 2-0, and they're going to go on a 6-game losing streak, snapping that 6-game losing streak against the Oakland Raiders, where Waller's probably going to have his breakout game. And then after that, they're gonna finish this 7-10, because with all these new pieces together, it just feels uncomfortable. Like if they had a year underneath their belt, okay. But when you bring in new players, have to learn the system, have to do all this other crap, it takes a step back. Now if next year they go into the season with everybody, don't have to resign anybody, then I'm all board. But Waller just got here. I don't think he's going to hit the ground running as people think they are, as people think he is. It might take a few games to get him going. The defense, it might take a few games to get them going. The offense might get a few games to get them clicking. I don't think they're going to hit all cylinders week one. It might probably happen probably like week 10, week 9, because we have a bye week 13. So, but that's all I have to say. I mean, I don't think it's a good pickup, because we have just too many linebackers. So, you know, I don't know what they're going to do. But I don't think he's going to get any playing time. He might probably get playing time in Sunday. So Saturday, he might get some playing time, but I don't think he's going to. I don't think it's going to be enough to convince the coaches that okay, because right now we don't have a number one linebacker. We really don't. Everybody's just up and down. You know, receiving core, we don't have a true number one receiver. Everything is just up and down. Tight end, we got that right. Left tackle, we got that right. Quarterback, we got that right. Running back, we got that right. Linebacker, like I said, we don't even know who's our number one linebacker. Free safety, we got that down. Cornerback, that's probably up and stuck. So the Giants are just all over the place right now. So we'll see this last game. There's going to be a lot of cuts. So, it is what it is. Like, comment, subscribe. Till next time, take care of yourself and each other.